your milk to be the loss leader, to get them in to buy the more expensive branded products?
With regards to beef, I've told this story before.
Probably gone up slightly though, haven't it, the last few weeks?
Yeah, it has. But in 1997,
But we
a
can't
blue
swear.
cross bulling heifer was £1,200.
Yeah.
If I was to go to Penrith tomorrow and try and buy a blue cross bulling heifer, it would be £1,200.
Yeah.
Not much more. The price has not risen.
Yeah.
And yes, everyone says, oh, you know, beef's flying, it's doing really well. It isn't, actually.
Yeah.
It's not risen with everything else. And when you take into account, like you said, the cost of your fertiliser, your diesel, the electric, you know.
Is that because our sector are poor sellers? We're not Texas tough, we're just poor sellers.
I think that's changed recently though in the cereal sector, because we've all seen 300 and we're all like, well, we're not selling it till we see it again.
Really?
Definitely.
And
I don't know anyone selling grain at the moment because it's so
And how
low.
do you use, you know, and that's kind of part of what we
The worm has turned.
How do you use market information? What do you look at? How do
Well,
you...
we obviously look at the AHDB. We get it's updated every 10 minutes.
I was trying to be subtle.
No, but in all seriousness, AHDB need an app so we can check it quicker. They do have a good website and it's obviously market information, but I will monitor the markets 3 or 4 times a day, and if there's something happening, even more, and I'll be like, right, there's no food to sell. So like last week, I saw the sweet spot sold a little bit.
Right.
Monday, I sold a bit of barley, but you just need to know. It's
You could have a
important.
notification, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you set the threshold, and it goes ping, bang, sell. And
Well,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's why we have phones. It's so quick. You can do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
But-
the modern day technology, there should be something that should be made a lot easier.
market prices, but it would be better.
But just to explore that again, you think that farmers are getting to be more competitive at selling?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Because we've got to, we can't sell at a loss now.
Because
it's a
you
big
will
one.
They're not going to come looking for it. I think we need to go and give it.
But also, we're still going to be price. We're still going to be price takers though. And when
Yeah, but we're not taking the price at the moment because it's not good enough,
But
which
it's
is something that's
still-
never normally
I
happens.
suppose with livestock it's a
I
different
was
thing
just going to
altogether,
say, I
isn't
think
it?
it depends though. If you can keep it in your shed, like wheat or
Yeah.
whatever you've just combined until you absolutely have to sell it.
Yeah.
Sheds are too full or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're particularly things like pigs and poultry, if it's ready to go, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Who remembers 2 months ago when certain supermarkets weren't stocking certain brands of, don't want to name them, but very commodity tin brands, because those companies just backed away from the supermarkets, and the supermarkets had to.
They had to give. So
yeah,
it is
so
possible
it
as a
is,
unit.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Mark's popping the phone.
I think the problem is a
How
lot
do you
of
flip the
farmers
camera?
are pushed to sell.
Well, it says enhance
So even
at the bottom right.
wanted to.
Yeah, because you need the cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we have this conversation. Some technological problems going on over there.
Let's listen.
We have kind of these conversations, and you probably all have them around the dinner table at home. Well, why don't we just sit to it? We'll never sell it, and we need to make our neighbour do it and our next neighbour do it. But quite simply, it's just not possible. As we were just saying, the cash flow is absolutely vital. It would be amazing if almost farmers could just do a boycott for a bit, but it can't.
Of those trade groups, because shouldn't they be fighting a corner?
I mean, we're not involved in anything. I don't know if anybody else is.
The only
involved
thing
in
we
any
could
groups.
do-
Yeah.
The only thing we could do is not load anything out on a Monday.
And
But
just-
then they know it's all
Sheep,
coming up.
pigs, wheat.
Yeah, but
They know it's all coming on Tuesday.
Yeah, but
it'll
cause disruption, that's the payroll.
no, because they know a lamb's done when a lamb's done. If a lamb goes over 45, you get penalised for
And
it.
cattle as well,
Cattle
42
as
days.
well.
Yeah, exactly. 40 to 42 days. I can't remember.
So on the flip side,
Yeah.
when you get on the flip side, yeah. So this is from a farming side for your consumer followers that's listening and watching. What is the message to them? So how can they help support you guys on farm?
Eat local, shop local.
Can I there's a question coming on Facebook. So, for all of you guys, what good trends do farmers want to see grow the most? Sustainability, British, or eating better quality but less?
Say that again. Repeat that.
So, what good trends do farmers want to see grow the most in the UK? Sustainability, British, or eating better quality but less of it?
Surely all of
I
them.
don't think we could pick one of those because what we're all trying to do as farmers
We have
is
to
make
make money.
food sustainably.
And I was talking about sustainability. It's not just the environment, it's a sustainable
It's
business as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
sometimes people forget that we're a business, and without profitability, we actually can't put the can't put the crops in the ground for next year.
Well, we're always
So I got a lot of comments. Someone answered it online, and they're kind of all saying that they're not that much variant. Do you not think? Like local, British, sustainable. So you know it's sustainable for British farmers, and I can't remember the third one. But like they're all kind of like they're not. It's not like black and white, that is it? It's very beige.
It's not brand, you know, you're not selling a brand.
Sorry.
Do you feel alone, farmers, that you're just this lone voice, that there isn't this union, this collaboration of all of you to create this better general income for you?
We were until we started the start.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's such a farmers are up against it so much of the time that
It's almost inherent to keep the cards
so close to your chest because you have to protect almost what you've got, and so knowledge sharing probably isn't where it should be.
farmers can be really competitive with each other over,
Social media, and I'm sure we all
get it. So there probably isn't the cohesion there that maybe there
should be, but you can absolutely see why farmers have to stick up for themselves sometimes.
And I think, was it yesterday, World Mental Health? It is quite a lonely and quite sometimes sad industry, but I think.
I think it is. Sorry to interrupt there, but I think the thing that the social media is good at, and like I think everyone kind of does the same. Obviously, we do YouTube and things go wrong.
Yeah,
and I think the amazing thing through social media and stuff, life isn't perfect. I think a lot of farmers, we're massive on it. We're talking, well, you guys were talking about before that TikTok takes away stuff that you're putting on
Yeah.
because life is not perfect. Do you know what I mean? Life isn't this sunshines and rainbows. And yes, we have these great times on social media. It's great, but you've got to show the bad as well. And us showing the bad, I say everyone watching, everyone kind of doing this, shows that someone else who's struggling, who's had a bad day, you know, a lamb's died, a tuck's died, spent X amount of money on it, but if it goes wrong for us, then they'll, someone else has gone wrong. Do you know what I mean? You get that same reaction. So it is lonely, but I think social media is great for farmers in a way because they're not alone in a hill.
Do you love farming?
Oh yeah, my friend.
Excellent.
When I have a bad day, because I do a video every day, it's easy to have a bad day most days. You dump it on the internet and you find that most people that day have also had a bad day. They've been watching, and then they all feel better.
And you-
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. How do you feel as a percent? I think that's really is a good idea.
Because it's the biggest lie in the world when someone says, "How are you today?"
Well,
I'm
fine, thanks.
Second biggest lie in the world.
Checks
I've
at the
read terms
post.
and conditions, and I love you.
So with social media, can you all create change? It's great to hear that you're having a good day, bad day, bought a new combine.
Try to think
Can you
so,
create
yeah.
change? Because we know what the issues are currently. We're going through these really interesting economic times. You look at other sectors that have combined together to gain more income for those sectors. Can you not all come together to drive that change? Just have that
I think
voice.
it's happening.
Yeah.
The fact that we've got this voice here.
As a collective, I think we're a lot stronger than on our own.
I-
Because we're battling for our own causes.
I'm just shocked that there's trade groups that have been going for 70, 80 years, and by the sounds of it, none of you are overly excited about them when they should be the voice of you, but actually you are your own voice now.
I think you feel rather dictated to as a farmer what you're going to receive for your product. Like, I walked into Ollie down and said, wow, this is a massive pile of straw. And he said, it's not a good price, so I'm not selling it. We can't do that with beef cattle. Once they are ready, like we said, they're ready and they're going to go because otherwise you're over your age and then they're worth less. And then
I do think, so I appreciate in that moment in time that that's very hard to change. But I think over time with what you are doing here and the wider industry, you build that empathy, you build that sort of connection with your customer. Change is never going to happen overnight, but it is building. So it becomes a more positive thing. Talking about positive, what gets you excited about it? What is it you love about farming? Why do you carry on? Let's, Gina.
Oh, just come over and talk to me.
That's I turned swiftly.
This is my feed.
I reckon farming is a problem. You really have to have a love and a passion to do it. And if you have a passion and a goal, it's something to work to. And once you achieve that goal, there's always another goal. And it's challenging, but I love a challenge. And like I say, you have to love what you do, have a passion about what you do to progress.
I find it really grounding farming in general, no matter
Wholesome, isn't it?
what is going on, like be it, and we've all lived through it, pandemics, the Queen dying, you know, your mum's that, even something terrible like that happening, work goes on.
I was going to say, you don't get
You do not get to stop. You are dictated to by the weather, the seasons, and it makes you very grounded, and it keeps you, you know, where you should be. You don't get carried away with what's going on in the world too much, because you've still got cows to look out, you've still got hay to put out, you've still got, you know, or crops to plant. Regardless of what's going on, you need to do it. I think that's quite a nice thing, isn't it?
Joe,
Yeah.
before you fall asleep then.
Yeah.
After bedtime.
It's a little bit, yeah, Jesus. I know it's just rewarding, isn't it? I suppose. Like you go into a field, you start drilling it, you start planting it, and then like 2 weeks later you come back, it's there, it's growing. You see where you've done your drill mistakes, like what I've done today. But like you've done it, and then you come to harvest, and it's just. I don't know, there's always something different happening as well in a rolling farming if you're just like working on a farm, like as a tractor driver or something like that, because that's what I like to do with my channel, is like try and get it and show people what farming's about who maybe aren't really from a farming background. So like I think it's good.
That was going to be my next question, because, you know, something we'll talk about hopefully in the future is labour and attracting new people into it. So, you know, how do we attract a new bright talent into the industry?
I actually think to get people in the industry, we're not showing them early what you can actually do in agriculture, because farming isn't just what most of us spend our time doing in a field or lambing a sheep or driving a tractor, and albeit that's what we all love doing.
You get into a tractor and the screens, most of which I don't know what all the buttons do, let alone the coding and all the stuff that goes into it. So I think there definitely needs to be more at the education level. Obviously, yes, showing like what actually goes into farming,
But what we need from young people coming through into our industry
Yeah, I think
to make it be sustainable and, you know.
I think what Joe Public thinks about what farmer does is actually changing to be completely different. So if I go into a pub and like I get talking to somebody and I say that I'm a farmer, they think that I'm like, I've got a spade in my hand at
Yes,
like
exactly.
6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
like shoveling this, and like that's all I do all day, and it's very manual. Well, no, now it's like you said, GPS is coming in, like I'm running all our farm cattle stuff through a PC, computer system. Me and Charlotte were talking about getting IEDs, no,
Yeah,
they're bombs,
taxing,
aren't they?
yeah.
EIDs.
All the lights just went.
Like tags in.
Yeah, taxing cattle instead of in just sheep.
Audio on yours is shocking, by the way.
Joe, have you heard this example? There's a Lincolnshire farmer 18 months ago who was trying to find a head tractor driver, advertised, couldn't find anyone. And one of his mates who wasn't in the sector had a look at this £250,000 worth of tractor and drill and sat down.
He said, it must be like being a computer programmer being there. And the farmer said, that's an idea. So he advertised for a software engineer, got a dozen people, explained that it was actually a farm and all this kit. Had 3 people who came out, and all 3 of them wanted the job. Yeah. Now he's got a guy out of, I think it's Nottingham, who's now on a farm, running all this kit and loving it.
Because that's great, because they'll love it because of the numbers and stuff. And that's what you're doing is
Statistical information, the spreadsheets, and
you've completely
no missed drills. No.
Your office view, but it's on the move.
Yeah.
We always say, oh, this is our office is better than yours taking the pic. You've got a win-win situation there.
Did anyone go to Groundswell this year?
I couldn't find my sandals.
So cereals was the atypical sort of
average age group of blokes in their 50s in suits. Groundswell, the average age was 30. There's so many younger people there because of the sustainability, because of the regenerative agriculture, whatever your views are. But it had a great buzz because there's so many new people coming into the sector. because that's the hook, regenerative agriculture and sustainability. We're finding that there's people not wanting to go into the city, or they want to come to the country to investigate carbon neutrality, regenerative agriculture, sustainability. And we've all got our views off that, but if it's bringing people into the sector, it's happy days.
It's made it kind of cool, hasn't it? Instead of it being for like, when I was younger, if you were slightly not the brightest, you would end up at agricultural college.
It's the same number.
No, it did. Well, honestly, it was true, and it was like if you didn't have a.
That's all my own name.
You have to be clever now to run these things, and I don't think that you can just.
You're not a farmer, you're a business person.
Am I?
You are.
I bet
You
you're a
don't
top.
see, but then if
But
you
then
don't
that's
see
it.
yourself, because
Yeah, no,
farmers,
you're right.
we don't
No, you're
see
right.
ourselves as what we actually are.
Yeah.
And day to day, it's not just farming.
No, it
it's a
isn't.
bit of, we can't joke about it, but you do have to know a bit of vet stuff, a bit of agronomy
Of
stuff,
course you do.
business
Okay.
stuff, and
Yeah.
we have to know a bit of that every day. We're not experts, we take their advice on it,
Yeah.
but it's a bit of
Jack of all
everything.
trades,
Farmer's a bit of a generic term, isn't it? It's like, I'm a farmer. If you went back 50 years, a farmer just managed staff and all the
Yeah.
farm workers did the work. Now, someone that drives a tractor would be called a farmer, someone that managed a farm would be called a farmer. It's such a catch-all thing. Like,
Then you have that difference between a driver and an operator.
exactly, yeah.
It's your level
steering
of
wheel
work, isn't
attendant.
it?
Or a software engineer.
That's the one.
And I think that is probably one of the greatest beauties of is that some change and the different things you can do. So that it's not the same monotonous job all the time. I think you see the seasons and all that. I think that's definitely a big selling point we should put out into the industry.
So building on that, another comment that just come in. Any ideas on how we can break this stigma? So in the public's eye, our industry is low paid and low skilled. We're trying to recruit new people into the industry. What is everyone's thoughts about increasing a supply of labour into the industry by changing that stigma?
I don't think there's a stigma because Clarkson's out with that. I think the biggest problem is he's competing with the wages because he can earn £40 a year.
Yeah, they can. We said that we had this conversation earlier, and me and Roy were actually talking about it in terms of staffing. If you went back, when did we say, like a couple of years ago, you were getting a tenner to work on a farm per hour, you were getting a tenner to drive a wagon, and you were getting a tenner to drive a digger. And then now, you can get a fortune driving a wagon, and yet farm wages have stayed the same.
Yeah,
And you get dirty.
Yeah, digger drivers, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5,
Predictable hours.
12 on a
Yeah.
Friday. But then 12 on a Friday, yeah, done.
And in our job, you're
And
not
that's
used to
all
getting
And
hurt.
they're on like 2.5 times more. It's mad. Do you know what I mean?
It's like 40
Lunchtime.
grand a year to drive a wagon. Why
Well-
would you not take that? on a
Well,
farm?
then again, I've had people that have worked for us and worked on them industries and always want to come back to farming.
Why do you think why is that?
What, they have a mortgage and can't afford?
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah.
But why do you think that is, Joe? Let's explore that a bit.
They love working with his dad.
Why not want to work with me? But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's like the monotonous. I think a lot of these higher paid jobs on building sites where you driving a tanker or something like that, very monotonous. They're doing the same thing every day. Whereas like you can come onto a farm, you're working in a family business, which a lot of farms are. Not every farm, but a lot of farms are family businesses, and they're looked after a bit more than in just by commercial entity. Like
It's good for you though, isn't it? Do you not think it's really, it's soul food,
The
it's-
grounding.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good job. I enjoy it so much.
I like the fact that because the season, being arable because the season's changed, the job changed.
Yeah.
So just when I've had enough of combining, I will then start drilling. And just when I've had enough of drilling, I'll start spreading fertiliser. And then
It's
when
the
I've had
same with
enough of
us,
that,
yeah.
we're spraying. And then when I've had enough of spraying, we start combining again.
The seasons thing's really important because, like Clarkson's book and quite a few of these kind of agricultural books are based on the seasons, and that's the way to make it resonate with the consumer as well, and then get that wider knowledge of what they can eat in season, because they realise then that things go in a cycle. And if we talked about seasons, it's just, oh yeah, well farmers are complaining that it's lambing time and they're tired. But when you get someone like Clarkson coming in to talk about the seasons and a bit more about what actually goes into them, he obviously has that voice already, and it helps, and he has that platform beyond what we have, because he's had another job that's not farming.
It's funny though as well. It resonates with people because it is hilarious, and they find it fun to watch. And he's putting it across in a really a really interesting but fun way, which I think people are enjoying watching, you know.
So
It's
it's also been good for the sector.
Oh, 100%. I think it's brilliant.
I really do. If I go, well, London very rarely, but if I go and see friends from uni, and that wasn't an agricultural course, wasn't an agricultural uni at all, and the first question they pretty much ask is, have you watched Clarkson's Farm, or will you be watching the next series?
Yeah.
They then go on to say, oh, so is that comparable to your life on the farm? But they wouldn't really ask as their initial question, how's the farm going? But because they have a way in, because also it's hard when consumers don't actually know the way in, it's something that they don't know how to talk about at all. So Clarkson's given them a way in, and then it gives me the opportunity.
So you're not from a farming background?
Me?
Are you?
Oh, I'm fifth generation.
Right.
But I went off to uni to study something completely unrelated. Just because my parents said, you know, you've done quite well in your exams, go off and do something different. And I actually, so I came back to the farm full time about 18 months ago. Always planned to have a job, you know, for many more years. Family illness, and I had to come back early. So I wasn't meant to be on the farm now. I was meant to be, you know, 40, 50, you know, as old as you get with a farmer. Yeah. Yeah.
By 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
Yeah, you're not from a farming background.
No, I'm not.
So tell us a bit about your story.
Can I tell TikTok it works, yeah?
Everyone looked to go like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, literally, I just
Sorry.
just like work.
There we go. Yeah, look at that. Who's going on? I'm so sorry. You think I'd be better at it, but I'm not. So.
Should I repeat it? Are you ready, Tom? So we're listening.
Give me time to think, it's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, we planned that. Tell us a bit about yourself. You're not from a farming background. How did you end up here?
So I moved to the home family farm, a safe farm. It's more of a small farm. We literally only ever had a couple of pigs, been more horsey my whole life. And my neighbour was a pig farmer, is still a pig farmer. And I was always more interested in the livestock route. And he said, oh, why don't you go off to college and give it a go? If you don't like it, obviously you don't have to carry on. I went to Sparshot in Winchester and I fell in love with it. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I lived in there for 2 years. Went straight from there, worked on a potato farm. I was very lucky. Through going to college, I got contacts. So a friend of mine got me a job on a potato farm, which was quite big at the time. It's called Green Seeds. And yeah, and from there I kind of just progressed up. Went to the potato farms every year. Went on to for a private contractor. Learned everything about grass. It was all hay, silage, haylage, and straw really. So kind of just through there. I started from rock bottom. Well, now I've ended up in Lincolnshire and I started in Surrey. So saying something.
Quite a few people are asking on here about the new entrants, and
I actually get messages from people saying, how do I get into farming? And for me it's quite a difficult message to answer because I'm lucky that I've never had to get into farming. So I guess what would you, if there was like three top tips or something, and I guess you were looking at having a slight rural background that, you know, at like half a foot to know what you wanted to do, but what would people do?
If you really know for a certain fact, or if you have a slight thought in your mind, you want to give it a go, I would hands down just do it. Just do it, because if you don't, you may regret it. Like, if you don't go and give yourself that opportunity, that chance to like it and fall in love with it, you never do it. Maybe you don't just put your foot in and
we've got an apprentice at our farm, and if people watch videos,
Go on
and she's not from a farming background, not all, but for some reason, since she was 5, she decided that she wants to be a farmer, and so she's over the years she's applied at different farms. You know, can I work here? And always been knocked back, and I think that's like a common sort of thing that. A lot of farms don't take people on without experience, is what I get from people. So what Em did was she worked in a car valeter's, so she just washed cars and did things like that. So it showed that the next place that she went to, I can work, I can turn up at somewhere, I can do a job, and these people are going to give me a reference and say that I'm good at it. Then she went on to work in a horse place, which she didn't want to do, but you know, that's like a way then into agriculture.
Oh, later.
Yeah. I'm not
Well,
into horses.
well,
We better not say too much.
don't go there.
But yeah, and then when she sent me a message before TikTok and everything on Facebook and said, can I come and do a day a week on your farm, because I'm going to do this college course at agricultural college. So I knew that she was good on that side because she was wanting to go to agricultural college, and then all her pictures on Facebook were literally just like her and a farmer, or her and a cow, her and a this. And I thought, well, this girl, this is her passion, this is what she wants to do, we'll try it out. Yeah. We'll give her a chance.
You had a question about some farmers wanting experienced workers.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because a lot of people want people with experience, and they don't give people a shot because, okay, understandably, not everyone's going to be like, I'm going to treat like this kit as if it's my own. People are quite careless in the sense of like, I'm not being stereotypical, but I am at the same time. You get this kind of 16-year-old, look at me, I can drive a tractor, rolling it around the place, so you know I'm not wrong. They break stuff. And they don't really care because they don't have to pay for it. Whereas I've always been taught you have to treat stuff as if it's yours, and people don't always have the same mindset, which is understandable, because not the point. It's hard for everything being as expensive as it is for farmers to give their shot and their chance into someone to train them, and it's time.
That is the thing. So I get people all the time want to come and work for them because they think they're going to be on YouTube or a big tractor. But them breaking or damaging one machine is
sets you back.
Is
like combine headers.
Yeah. Like everyone makes mistakes, but like we had someone work for me once, and he was young and he wanted a pay rise. And it's like, I can do everything that everyone else can do. So I give him a pay rise, and within a few weeks, he'd done like 10 grand's worth of damage and stuff. And I was like, someone older wouldn't have done them stupid things that you've done.
I think there's also, they used to, when I was on farm, used to call me Isaac the Tractor Wrecker, Isaac the Terribles, and I was good as stockman, but so I think it's maybe some working to people's strengths and making sure, and giving the training, but also working to their strengths. Terrible on the tractor, but you know.
Have you not nailed it on the head? Because we're so busy, margins are tight. You go into any other industry, you go for an intense training course.
Yeah, staff training.
You do this without anyone you do this with someone watching you, you supervise it, and then you do that. Now, like, I know what I'm like. I'm flying around, and that's my own fault. But like, I can't afford to be paying someone to do my job, someone to watch someone else. Do you know what I mean? That's it comes back to what we were chatting about. Like, I know it might not sound awful, but when people start, you've got to watch them. I don't care if it's a 30-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 45-year-old. If they're new to it, you've got to watch them. We just don't have the time. Because margins are tight, and we're working 70, 80 hours a week.
So we've not got enough staff.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, I know it's horrible, I just don't put a bit down there, but I'm just looking at it, we just need to train people a bit better, maybe.
You also, so us for example, our farm is kitted out to reduce labour because of the almost shortages that we've had, and also we're trying to kind of reduce costs at every moment. I mean, we hardly ever plough anymore, so that means you don't plough, you then don't cultivate, you don't do whatever other steps you need to go to. We go in with the drill, and that's drilling done. So actually, that's now a one-man job, where before you would have needed more people, things were slower. All farms are having to reduce costs, and reducing the labour requirement is one way that we're doing that. And farmers, you know, it's a vicious circle, like I said.
We were speaking to a fellow before, weren't we, about staffing, and he was saying in the local villages around him, you know, in the past, you would have employed lads from the villages. There's no lads there. They don't want that as a job.
Someone's just said on here, don't underestimate the power of just having someone shadow you. So I guess how would like just having someone follow you around, yeah? Which is, you know,
they kind of need to be paid, don't they?
well, I guess if they're really, I think people, if they're willing to get into it, particularly when you're younger, particularly if it's alongside college.
And what Jared mentioned about apprenticeship, that's a really good way of getting people into it.
Yeah, because you always do apprenticeships, don't you?
Yeah, they do.
Do you know what I mean?
We had 2 apprentices the other year. We had another one, but he went to full-time college.
We do get quite a few people like in our area that want to come and volunteer on farms with us. I mean, well, Ash and Nick, they both volunteer, but they're sort of like friends, but we get, I would say, 1 or 2 people a month wanting to come and volunteer to do stuff, but it's just finding that time, like Tom says, to train people. It's difficult.
It's that because habitually you've always done what you've done, and you're not brave enough to come off the hamster wheel.
It's a little bit like that. You've got 100 grams telehandler and 100 grams worth of kit around you in sheds and cows that can get their heads knocked off. You can't just go, oh, off you go.
From our perspective as well, livestock-wise, you've got a duty of care to your animal. You've also got a duty of care to your member of staff that you've just employed, whether they be 40 or 16. They are your responsibility around massive animals.
You speak to a construction guy, he's got 100 grand's worth of digger. He'll have more staff hanging around. In the nicest way, someone's life's more expensive than a combine. Do you know what I mean? They still get people coming in at your own range.
They'll have a lot more extensive training though.
Yeah, they'll have to send you on a week course, so on it.
Everyone, just on the tech side of it, you think of our parents' generation when they were hand loading sugar beet into trailers or carting around 15 kilo sacks of wheat. You look where tech is going, automatic milkers. We didn't envisage those 10, 15 years ago. Can you see that tech is going to advance your businesses? That when we're here 5 years, 10 years down the line, you will have some form of automated thing wandering around your farm checking your livestock.
100%.
We'll be sat here, won't we, driving the drones? Just walking drones.
Are you positive about that? Is that going to...
Can't be boring.
Like, I am happiest. I don't know if anyone else. We talk about this X, Y, and Z. Like, I am happiest when I'm covered in muck.
Yeah, me too.
You know, dealing with cows, something goes on, and that's where, and that's genuine. You know, milking in the morning, carving cows, spreading slurry, mowing grass.
Automatic milkers, do you know the biggest downside of those guys for trying to sell them is you, because you didn't want to adopt them, because the comment was, what would I do if I wasn't milking?
Yeah, we just
Do you know what I
mean?
mean? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's you see a sale that, we'll do this electronic stuff, and it's probably more efficient. But like,
That's the thing.
you're talking about what you enjoy in farming and what's the thing. You enjoy farming. So the other thing I watch, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but the other thing that I'm doing a little bit of Be Real. Literally, I've got like 2 followers, whatever, and you can look through the discovery page. And I'm like maybe doing some field work or I'm just normally with cows or something, shop. And then you look at people, and it's my opinion, it's what I like about farming. I look at it and like they're in an office, they're in a building, and I just think, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
You know, I like doing what I do, and that's what, maybe, obviously I have my own business, so it's a little bit different for myself. But that's what I like doing, and I couldn't see myself doing something else.
And we all know there's people who commute, or did commute into the likes of London, or whoever, doing an hour and a half each way. They just goose on a train.
What was the change?
And you're driving a quad bike past them and you see all these little heads on a train and you're like, it's a different life.
Yeah, but what was the change? You were talking about how can we change people? COVID changed people. They looked out, they were looking, and you're like, they might have changed back, but then you look at a few TikToks. I don't know, there's a lady who's got involved like 2 years ago. She had things, she got a few sheep, now she's with a boyfriend, husband, I don't know, and now she's doing it because she's getting on TikTok, she's showing new entries. There's a couple of new entries in it on Instagram and stuff. Amazing. This company are sitting on the M25, they're struggling to get through, but they just know what they don't want to do, they know what they want to do.
And they're skin but happy.
But I think what you've just done, that passion and that, I think that is what we need to show people and what you guys are doing. And I think you and Ollie should swap, because I think Ollie's really keen on the covering in muck, Ollie's, and I can see your eyes.
I don't want to get up with that time.
Mate, that time of the morning is the best. It's the quietest, the phone doesn't ring, and all the cows want doing, they want milking, they want fed, they want cleaning up. That's it. No one else wants anything. No one wants to ring.
All our phones were ringing at 5 o'clock this morning.
What's that message?
It's John.
It's because I get mostly thinking done, because you go in, it's great.
We need to tell everyone, so basically we're all in a WhatsApp group set up for just this meeting. And at 4:53 this morning, Tom decided to text the WhatsApp group. Luckily my phone was in the notes.
So was mine.
But the best thing was, it wasn't something that you could just roll over and just read. You had to press the play button
And listen. In the morning. And he was chipper.
Oh yes.
God damn it, he did it on purpose as well. Right, so we've got a couple of minutes left. Just to end on a positive as we are. What is the opportunities you see in the industry? What is the things that you think, and this is where we're going to really capitalise in the next few months, years in the industry? What's the opportunities of there?
For the people watching, if you're not farming, the opportunities are that there's loads of jobs going on farms if you can find them and get trained up.
It's arrogance also, sorry to interrupt, to do it. If you can show and prove you've got the right mindset, people are willing to give you a chance. You just need to prove yourself, and that's one of the things, obviously, not from farming background, I had to prove myself every second of the day. The person I worked with quite quickly, he's like, I've never had a woman work for me. I said, I'll prove to you I can do it. And he's like, I'm not being big-headed, but you went them half an hour, I've never had work.
So what did you do to get into
Wow.
it? What was your first step? Did you go knock on his door and say, I want a job? What
No,
did you do?
so-
Did you go on, you know,
No,
LinkedIn for
it
farmers?
was
It's
through friends, and that's
Right,
why
so just asking about
Networking.
networking, yeah.
Going to
Young
college,
farmers.
yeah.
That's the
it's-
biggest thing. I think if you're not in farming, although I am too far too old to be in young farmers, I never had the opportunity when I was younger. I think getting into young farmers is a massive thing.
Was
It's a
it-
good thing to do.
You should explain how you ended up farming.
I got with my husband Roy, and he was a farmer. I lived in the middle of Preston. I was a carer, nothing to do with farming at all whatsoever. And I was saying to Ollie that he just dumped me on a farm and said, mother that calf on, and there was no choice. That was what you had to do. So I learnt the hard way, and I did do it. And then all of a sudden, I just thought, this is what I'm meant to
True
do.
love.
This is everything. It was amazing. So I used to farm around care work, and then he also had a family business, so we had to farm after 5 o'clock at night. So when everyone else was clocking off, we were clocking on. You know, and then we'd work it around 2 different jobs, and then in 2016 we got our own farm, and we've been going from there.
Wow.
But you know, it's just, you're meant to do it. You know, even if it's hard working, like now it's hard work, we're trying to build a business, but we will get there. I mean, you know, one day.
And the opportunities then, with the hard work, opportunities are there.
Yeah, if you're willing to put in the graft, and it might look, it is all very fluffy on social media, isn't it? And I do try and portray quite the tougher side of it, where things do go wrong, because not everything's perfect. But I think that helps other people as well, because they don't want to see everything being shiny and happy, and
It's
you know, because they feel very sure about their own lives.
Becca, what's the opportunities?
Oh, I think that's a really good question. I'm actually going to say, like us, like this younger generation coming through, and this is no disrespect to, you know, obviously my mum, my dad, my grandparents who have all been farming, but we're hopefully, even just by utilising social media, are bringing something a bit different. We're reaching consumers in ways that haven't been done before because they haven't needed to be done before. But I think there's a really good movement of younger people who are desperate to make a difference and do farming in the best way possible. So hopefully, yeah, it's people like us, without not sounding big-headed.
Yeah,
to me.
totally agree, 100%.
You know, I think it's a little bit sad though that there's more money telling the story about farming than
Yes,
actually
yes,
from
I do.
farming,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is just the crazy thing.
Isn't that, always the case? There's going to be
Yeah.
different opportunities. It's,
Yeah.
yes, I hear what you're saying, but it's finding where it works. So, there's a role for that, but there's, this will drag it all up and make it better and just showcase the industry better and, so it will hopefully become sellable or better. Max, opportunities.
I think there's some key points that come out from today. So the likes of Jeremy Clarkson, there's this buzz phrase of like driving societal change, getting people more interested in agriculture. There's so much money coming into agriculture. This is a bit of a depressing comment, but it's also positive for the people in ag, horticulture and fresh produce. Last recession, all of the funds globally came running into farmland globally because they saw it as a safe haven. With a perceived recession coming up, the same thing is happening. The funds globally are running into agriculture, to invest into agriculture, because it's a long-term asset, and into ag tech. So there's a lot of money coming into ag tech. So coming back to the technology that's coming through, so there's going to be so many opportunities for farmers and people in ancillary industries to get involved with. And it's
Genetics, smart, radio, all this kind of
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
faster
there's
finishing households.
so many opportunities. So again, it's a really exciting to be the sector to be in, and we've all got to be open-minded and have automatic milkers.
I've actually been asked to talk at an investment event in London on the 1st
There
of
you go.
November because they're saying that is where the money's going to do next.
Yeah, what, into making food?
Yeah.
Because it's suddenly everyone's realised how fragile the
Well,
finite it is.
So listen, in a world recession or a world war, God forbid, or a world pandemic, if you're in the eating game or the cleaning game, people got to eat and people got to clean. And if you're in the eating game and you're growing fantastic, have fresh food, fresh produce, fresh meat. What a sector to be in, rather than being a ghost on a train as an
I
accountant
know.
in London or wherever.
Any final opportunities before we start wrapping it up? Any final?
I think what we should do is ask the people to watch it before we thank the people that are watching. If we were to do another one of these, should we have topics, and if so, what should they be about?
Excellent call. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
I reckon what we should do, for example, like either on your stories on Instagram or Snapchat, have after the question and answer, be like, what topic? Or give a couple of topics and
Yeah, well, this was quite rushed, but we could say, like, the next one's going to be then.
Yeah.
Send in your things. These are what we've got so far. And vote for your best topics. And maybe do that.
And what about locations? So look, AHDB headquarters in Stanley are fantastic.
Well, I can sort it out.
But we'd like to have locations presented to us, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It sounds like we're up for this again.
Why don't we just do a tour?
I do get nosebleeds going too far north.
No, I'm not going to
Yeah,
visit from up north, really. Oh, there we are.
We
We're
could
a long
do one
way.
of Diddley Squat Farm Shop if Mr. Clarkson's listening.
Yeah.
In fact, why are we in Stoneleigh when all of us?
We're all
We're all
from
north.
Yeah.
But you're in Lincolnshire.
Don't you put me on the
You're
spot?
2 hours from me, and then everyone else is 4 hours from here.
We're 3 hours.
I managed to twist your arm, yes, and it's nice and central here.
Yeah.
No, I think so, yeah, it sounds like we're going to do this again.
Someone said, I think it's unfair for young farmers who want to buy their farm can't because big investors are pouring money into land. Yes, but then big investors need that land to farm, so there will be opportunities for people to rent land.
No, yeah, but still. We got that going in. But still, like, I get what they're saying. Like, you don't just want to rent land, do you? You want to, as a new entry. And I know as a new entry.
Somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to start from somewhere. You are going to rent it, but then if these guys are inflating the prices, it's hard for a new engine to get involved. Like our farm, there's a few of us obviously lucky. New entry. There's 4 here who've we've been very lucky to I'm a 5th generation farmer. So my dad had to start from somewhere. My great uncle had to start from somewhere. So they are making it more difficult. Do you know what I mean? And inflating prices of land is very hard for a new entry to get involved.
It sounds like a future topic.
You've got to point the...
And then we'll do succession planning. That's a 10-parter.
Sounds like you got some scars there, doesn't it?
No, but I know so many stories.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for all of you for coming down from up north.
That travels really far.
Yeah. And it wasn't too hard to understand either. I thought I might need a translator, but no, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody that has been listening. Drop it in the chat what you want us to chat about next time. Maybe you want to say something?
Someone just said, what are the opportunities for someone in a wheelchair?
Wow.
Well,
There is a guy.
there
John Deere.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got they've done
What,
a
left on?
special, yeah.
Yeah, so that, the orange Valtra that Andrew that works for me uses now, that had a wheelchair lift fitted to it, and the guy that makes them isn't far from me. He's actually invited me to go to his workshop and see him make it, and he's done loads of conversions now.
There is
Because
also
you don't need a lift to drive a tractor.
Have you seen The Harmless Farmer?
Yeah, he was
He's
amazing, right?
Yeah, just
Passed
died
away,
unfortunately.
unfortunately. But yeah, how amazing was he?
Did you see that one where he changed a wheel on his truck?
No.
Crazy. Like, yeah, if people want to check that guy out.
Yeah, the harmless. But the harmless farmer. But he was making it work, wasn't he? It's we need Agni to make it work a little bit better.
Yeah.
If there's people like this, amazing.
And I think all kinds of diversity and to get people because there's so much talent out there. Like you said, and somebody said I've never had a woman work for me. Yeah, and I think part of what we're doing here.
It's not just the practical farming, you could say vertical farms, the ones that we're involved with, they have a control room, and so they all need to be monitored and driven. So it's not just the physicality of it, there's a lot of tech options out there for people with disabilities as well.
Yeah, it's actually Tom Ram, I know what he's saying about the investors buying land and making it difficult. I've farmed land, contract farm land for investors. For many years as well. So that's another way.
I've just had someone comment saying that there's no land like the housing development to carry on buying it to build on.
I've had loads of housing ones.
Loads of those, yeah. Quite a fair
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a few topics to go in months to come. Right. I'm going to draw and close. Mark, tell us a bit more about delivering the future.
Yeah, so thank you very much. We've had a great discussion and there's lots to go on. Again, a shameless plug. Delivering the Future of Farming, 10th of November, online event, hour-and-a-half sessions. Register, follow that QR code or look on the AHDB website. It's where you can hear where your levy's being spent over the next 5 years.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So if you want to know more about what we do at AHDB, look at our website, some agri-leaders and what Mark and I do. And so we'll see you shortly. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Do you know what, well, do you not want to, like, some people will be watching, won't know how to find the top, or won't know how to find Charlotte. So.
Excellent. So let's go around.
Christmas card.
Who's who?
Follow Tom on.
So you can follow me on Tom Pemberton on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and yeah, Snapchat as well.
Charlotte Ashley Farm, and I'll be on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
Rebecca Wilson on Instagram is my main one.
Josie Els on YouTube and on TikTok. Both the same, Josie Els.
Excellent. Isaac, mostly. Sorry.
You don't count Isaac.
I don't count. I'm not an influencer. I've got 2 followers on Instagram.
Let's get Isaac to 1,000 followers.
Watch me.
Agri Isaac.
Isaac on Twitter.
Oh, Georgina Sarah, I'm on TikTok and Instagram.
Ollie Harrison with his agri contract, Ollie blogs on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat,
MySpace.
If it's a social media, Ollie has it. So Mark, OnlyFans.
Spreading your beds.
MDH Campbell on Twitter.
And Max at Beanstalk at Global. Beanstalk.global.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. That was brilliant fun.
How do you?
See you guys. Thanks for watching.
How do you stop it?
Sorry, I just like pulled you out as a walk. Right, that's it. Random question: are there any opportunities in our game job with older person? I've always had a major frustration. If you really want to do up an old tractor, if you're good at mechanicking, I've got a few doing up. Drop some. Right, I'm hanging up now because my phone is about to overheat because it's been on this screen.
I love the jeopardy. So Rebecca and Joe just carry on talking while he's screaming at us and shaking it there behind them.
Business.